folks, how are we doing today? All right, so today I wanted to do a discussion about MSTY. Okay, we've seen what has been happening in the market as it relates to these yield max funds. We've seen what is happening to MSTY, okay, and it is not a good story, all right? So we should definitely look at this fund as an example of truly potentially what not to invest in. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, and certainly you can invest your own discretion, but we look to this fund and other high NAV erosion funds for examples of potentially what not to do. All right. So let's look right into it right now. All right, guys, first and foremost, thank you to everyone that has joined the Patreon. We're up to 91 members, okay? And certainly a number of paid members, guys. And if you want financial coaching, if you want access to all the calculators, just jump right in and sign up to the Patreon. I'll leave a link in the description below, guys. I can't thank you enough for buying me a coffee every month and supporting the channel. It does go a long way, all right? So today we're going to do a cautionary tale and we're going to talk about MSTY, okay? And I know the story is not always a negative one. It sometimes is a good one. But looking at MSTY, guys, looking at MSTY, which is Yield Max's MSTR option income strategy over the past 6 months, okay? Over the past 6 months, we've seen a negative 31% price reduction, okay? NAV erosion, guys. That is not good news for MSTY, okay? And we have to look at the underlying asset to see what's happening here, okay? We have to compare that to MSTR. But here's the thing about it. Look at what MSTR has done, okay, in the past 6 months. From a price return standpoint, it's up 13%. From a price return standpoint. Now, MSTY, of course, is giving you that yield. So we will look at MSTY from a total return standpoint. Today, we're just looking at price return, or this moment, we're just looking at price return. Year to date, MSTY is down 46%, guys. So the more the NAV will erode, the more negative distributions you'll receive, all right, in terms of lessening distributions. All right, so every time it erodes, guess what? The price of the value of the assets is more minimal. And so your yields are going down, guys. Your yields are going down, and we don't want to see that when it comes to dividend income strategies, right? We want stable, consistent income that we can rely on with growing NAVs, net asset value, not negative NAVs here, guys. So that's not a good sign off the jump. And look at what's happening on Reddit, guys. We have here on Reddit, this guy is saying, he needs a MSTY support group. He's down negative 38% total return, down 25% on MSTY in just a short amount of time. Learned my lesson here with Yield Max and MSTY. This guy is saying the NAV's just been getting destroyed, and so he wants to move into SPY and QQQI. This guy, here he's still negative after 9 months. He says not a great investment here. And look here, you can see what MSTY has done. Negative 12% total gain, rather negative 12K total gain. That's not what we want to see from any type of investment. Negative 12K total gain, down 50% with Coney and with MSTY. So not pleasant from what we see here, guys. Not pleasant at all. Now, guys, okay, so if I go to Seeking Alpha and I do a comparison, let's start off with price return again, like I always do, okay? So for MSTY on the price return for the past year, we've seen negative 43% price return, okay? Whereas QQQI, in one of our tried and true ETFs that we like to focus on, that has seen a 5 to 6% price appreciation, guys. And I want you to go into your mentality and think, do I like to see these big negative red things in my assets in my portfolio? When I go to the brokerage account, can I stomach seeing negative 42%? And I don't even care that you're getting distributions. I don't care that you're getting distributions. The fact that you have to see negative 42%, 43%, there's a mental thing about that, and you have to be accepting of that. All right. But now let's look at the total return for the past 6 months. Now, total return. So we're including dividends paid out plus the price return, guys. Okay. So MSTY over the past 6 months, and I'm being generous here, over the past 6 months, it has returned a flat or no return, guys. All right. pretty much 0.08%. So pretty much nothing. It has not returned to you any value in the past 6 months. All right. Whereas QQQI in the past 6 months, 18 to 19%. So not only are you getting the stable NAV, but you're getting a great return here in comparison, right? Let's look at the 1 year and maybe that this story is different in 1 year. Yes. So, in the 1 year time frame, certainly Misty, has saw a huge jump back in 2024, right? And this is a fund where it's a matter of when you get in, right? At the time, Bitcoin was kind of in a bear and then this thing rode up and rode up, right? But it just depends on when you get it, guys. If you've had it for if you had it since the beginning of this year, look at the results. 8% return versus QQQI's 15% return, right? So with Misty, it's so about timing. It's really about the timing of it, and we don't want to do that. We just want to jump in and not have to worry about timing. Not have to worry, is this the right moment for Bitcoin? Is this the right moment for this fund? Is it NAV eroding too much, right? It's just too much of a gamble. Whereas with QQQI, if you're betting the market is going to continue to rise, certainly we're in a bull patch, but you have much more reassurance, in my opinion. And it's again not financial advice, but you have much more reassurance that you can invest at any interval and you're still going to get a consistent payout, and the NAV won't erode on you 30% within a month period. All right, so a bit of a cautionary tale here with what is going on with Misty, right? Over the past, 1 month, look at what's happening. Do you want to see a negative 13% total return on Misty? Is that something you're comfortable with? You have to ask yourself that. Negative 10% in just 5 days, guys. So any way I spin it, whether it's year to date, 6 month, anything this past moment, this year, you've seen weak results with Misty, and I suspect it to continue to erode, right? And you can see people maybe that invested a year ago that got in earlier, they're okay, but a lot of those folks, guys, a lot of the folks, that have bought more recently, average cost $18. They're down 25, 30, 40%, and the distributions are not covering them. All right. And so when you see these high distributions, guys, when you see an asset that is doing 200% dividend yield, I really want you to question that. And I want you to say, is this something? What's under the hood? How are they possibly giving us this distribution? Is the NAV going to be stable enough for me to justify this high distribution? Is it going to at least not erode that much and to let the distribution create a total return? That's something you have to ask yourself. For me, I'm not interested in this. I'm interested in more the stable, consistent, boring, NAV growing type of funds like a QQQI. And yes, QQQI is new, and QQQI holds its own risk, right? Very new fund, fairly, decent assets under management, but could be more, right? Very new fund. So it's still to be tested, guys. But in the short term, we like what we're seeing with QQQI. We like what we're seeing with the stability. We want consistency and stability as opposed to these huge bets. All right. Based on timing. All right, guys. So, what do you guys think? Leave a comment in the comment below on if you're still invested in Misty or other yield max funds. I'm just doing a quick PSA right now on these because I know people are hurting with it. And guys, all the best up to the channel and cheers.